for your 303 Endurance Podcast.
Welcome to episode 517 of the Grit to Greatness Endurance Podcast. We're your hosts, coaches Rich Soares, April Spildy, and Lauren Brown. Thanks for joining us for another week of coaching questions, get gritty tips, workout wisdom, and of course, a little bit of fun. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and while most of us are still recovering from turkey trots, turkey legs, and maybe one too many slices of pecan pie, today we are giving thanks and getting gritty, because endurance isn't just about the miles that you run, it's about the mindset you build. So grab your leftover pumpkin spice coffee, settle in, and let's talk about how to turn holiday indulgence into fuel for your next big goal. Coach April, Coach Lauren, you ready to roll?
Ready.
Like a cinnamon roll. Heck yeah.
Roll like a cinnamon roll. Love that. Right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I do got to ask y'all, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish? What's the one thing that you cannot have Thanksgiving meal without?
Sweet potato casserole.
Right.
Marshmallows melted on top. Yes, it has to have marshmallows melted on top. Otherwise, it's not Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, totally, 100%. And with and a little bit of like that, like a maple syrup glaze too, maybe, just like in the sauce. Oh
yeah, because like you never make sweet potatoes like that unless it's Thanksgiving.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Oh, it's amazing.
How about you, April? Yeah, the same vein. I just go with the good old sweet potato pie.
Yep.
With the good whipped cream. Yeah.
I love pecan pie, and I was just up at dinner having dinner with my family, and I said I cannot wait to come back and have some post-podcast pecan pie.
I'm doing post-podcast pie as well.
So there you go. Wow. All right. Well, April, what do we got going on today?
We've got a lot, so we're going to rapid fire this here. We have our announcements and news. There are so many great things that we're going to share with you today. Our Ask a Coach is all about how to pace your best marathon inspired by one of our athletes. Our Get Gritty tip is rewriting the code, and I'm not going to give too much away because there's a lot there that I can't wait to unveil with you all. Coach Lauren's going to bring us our Grit to Greatness workout of the week. Cars for mobility, and then our fun segment is all about the leftovers. We're going to go through a gauntlet. That's why I asked that question in the beginning, guys.
It's been leftovers all day, so let's just go. I love this. This is great. All right, well, you ready for some announcements and news?
Yep.
We need a drum roll. Is there?
I know, we did drum roll here.
Yeah, we need the sound. Yeah, we need the soundtrack there. Oh no! Hey, hang on. We got this, but that's not
like
quite the same thing.
One-liners, though. That's like the cinnamon roll.
Yeah, that doesn't quite count, right? Anyway, so we have the TriDot Pool School, Colorado Springs style. April, this is so awesome. This is our third Colorado Springs at the Air Force Academy Pool School. And it's coming up this February 28th through March 1st. It's a Saturday, Sunday event. And this is going to be our biggest and best one yet. It
just gets better and better, Rich. And I agree. I think this is going to be our best one yet.
I have the times from our first pool school that we had a while back, and I'll bet you have one of those cards too in your basement somewhere, huh?
Yeah, I've got a stash now.
Stash of them. Yeah, these are all the improvements that our athletes make from the first to the second. I guess from the first to the second day, and really because those times are just before they start doing pool school, basically. And Coach Lauren, you've got one coming up here yourself next week.
Yeah, Boston. That'll be December 5th, December 4th, that weekend, first weekend.
Awesome. Coaching on deck.
Coaching on deck, training to coach on deck. So
yeah, you're going to have a blast. You're going to, like every time I am on deck, I always learn something new, either from another coach or just, something that works for an athlete or I guess we were supposed to be doing it that way.
Yeah, it's also good learning lessons for us as coaches too, I've noticed.
Sure is. You bet. And it's great because it allows us to use that skill outside of pool schools one-on-one with athletes too, which I know we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Second announcement here, 2026 ambassador applications. The application window is still open for just 2 more days, folks. Grit to Greatness is accepting applications for our 2026 ambassador program. We have about a baker's dozen or more applications already in. I'm really excited to do the announcement. And we're going to announce when, Lauren?
We'll announce, I'm going to give it the start of the second week of December. I don't have the calendar in front of me. So we'll call it around the 10th, around December 10th.
Is when we're going to announce the names.
We'll announce, we'll do an announcement. Anybody who's applied, you'll get notified from us, and you'll get invited to all of the resources, calls, and everything that's going to be going on for 2026.
Woohoo. Awesome. All right. Well, that's exciting. Can't wait. And the link, if you have not applied, is right here in the show notes. Next topic, Grit to Greatness community meeting is coming up this coming Tuesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 Eastern. Link here in the show notes. It's a Zoom meeting, just like all the rest. You'll see us on Facebook. We've got an event out there at Grit to Greatness Endurance. And so join us. We're going to be going into a deeper dive on some of the following things, including next topic, a Grit to Greatness webinar. This is our monthly webinar series. We do this every month. It's the third Tuesday of every month. This time we are covering the topic, Greatness is a Habit, how to build yours in 2026. That's December 16th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Again, there's a Zoom link here if you want to go ahead and register ahead of time. And then this is awesome. I should really let Coach Lauren talk about it. I'm just going to tease it and then maybe let Coach Lauren talk about it just a bit here. We now have a Grit to Greatness Strava Club. Coach Lauren, tell us about it.
So this is hot off the press. We just started our Grit to Greatness Strava Club. So it's going to be open to anyone who wants to join along, and the link will be in the show notes. And we're really just getting started. So it's going to be a place for us to, of course, celebrate each other. We can brag a little bit about our workouts if you get a QOM or, any of your medals. And it's also
you bump your dot.
If you bump your dot, yes, April, Coach April bumped her dot.
Put your unicorns in there.
Significantly bumped your swim dot. So you get to see all of that cool stuff happening. And I'm going to just tease and say that I am sure we'll be doing some kind of little competitions and things along the way where, we'll get to celebrate some more and link it a little bit to what's coming up next on the announcements.
Yeah. So, but wait, there's more.
There is
So
more.
we are thrilled to announce that Grit to Greatness Endurance is going to be using Velocity as a cycling program. We are thrilled to announce, and this is going to be something we can do in connection with Strava, being on Strava. This is a platform that really specializes in cycling skills and cycling performance, really giving us the ability to do things that we haven't been able to do in the past. We're going to be able to do group sessions, one-on-one coaching through Velocity. It really helps us teach skills like, how to, gear choice and how to shift and still hold power, and how to maintain a certain cadence and balance cadence and power, and how to hold a consistent power, whether you are going uphill, up a grade, or down a grade, all of those kind of skills. So it's going to be great. We're going to have structured power-based workouts, both individual and group. We're going to have skill and technique sessions, group energy, individual focus. Depending on kind of the format that we're formats we decide to offer. It has some really cool features that are really good for one-on-one coaching, and then some other things that are really good for having group sessions, including the ability to replay something. So we are talking about having, a scheduled morning-led live group ride with an evening perhaps of a replay of that if you aren't able to make it to the morning session. But again, still be able to meet up with your fellow Grit to Greatness athletes and do a studio bike workout really also teaches some very specific bike skills. So we're really excited about that. And then last but not least, and this is really exciting. We are, as you know, we are rebranding 303 to the Grit to Greatness Endurance Podcast. And as we speak, this is now a new video podcast on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. The link here is in the show notes. So check us out. Come in and follow us. We are going to be promoting the heck out of this. You will also see clips posted to the same channel. So you'll get the full length podcast. Right now, this thing's all in video. We're going to do some props here in a second to show this off. And then we also, you can also follow us if you just want to go audio on Apple Podcast. We're out there pretty much anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. And we are going to be adjusting our format a little bit. You're going to see a little bit more content for runners. There's 50 million runners out there. There's 55 million cyclists out there. There's 10 million mountain bikers out there. There are 300,000 triathletes, registered here in the U.S. So, we're going to, you're going to see a little bit more content from us, a little bit more range from us. So we're excited, and we're really excited that this is on video because I wanted to do a show and tell, Lauren and April. These are our ornaments that I'm mailing out to our athletes.
Woo woo.
And so this, first of all, this is really cool. They're all kind of fired up and ready to go. But what I also found, and so this is still going to, I don't think this is too much of a spill the beans, but I found this when I was out there shopping for like stationery and stuff. These cards, they're called Crush Your Goals, and there are 40 super inspiring quote cards to jumpstart confidence, butt kicking, list making, and stuff doing. And there's a quote from a different person, a famous person in each of these. Let's see if I got, this is a pretty easy one. Fear is boring. by Elizabeth Gilbert.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. We'll just maybe call that the tile for the day. But anyway, so I found one that I thought would be appropriate for each athlete, and I just slipped it in there with their card. So
I love that. I actually got that as a gift from one of my athletes. So to see that it's kind of this ripple effect. Yep, like That's mine's. Right. Yeah.
This is our community. Just helping inspire and push each other and supporting each other. So anyway, we're excited about the rebrand, and that is all of the announcements.
I got one more thing I want to share with you all, and this is so cool. So first off, right, we have been doing a lot of changes with the podcast. We've added new segments, we've got new voices, and it's really gratifying to hear that you all are loving the changes. We got a review in from Shannon Hogan the other day saying that she loves it, that had her laughing and crying all at once. So it's just amazing to hear from you all. And we want to encourage you, if you like what you're hearing, please give us a 5-star review, write a review for us, because that really does help with getting the message out there and spreading that positive impact.
That's awesome. And thank you, Shannon Hogan. What a blast having you on our podcast.
All right, let us jump into our show sponsor for our Ask a Coach section, and that is Grit to Greatness Endurance Coaching. Hey team, let's talk about smart training. Grit to Greatness Endurance Coaching has teamed up with Predictive Fitness to help you train with precision, purpose, and progress. From effortless onboarding to personalized plans and deep dive analytics, you'll know exactly how to improve. You can try it for free, then keep building for as low as $14.99 a month. Check out the sign-up links in our show notes and start your smarter training journey today.
Awesome. And you know what, Coach April, it's the post-Thanksgiving show, and we are wearing our turkey trot shirts.
I know we haven't even mentioned it yet.
We haven't even mentioned this. Like, how do we this far into the podcast?
I don't know, but it's awesome.
And it's our video podcast. Come on, we got to get used to this video thing. And Coach Lauren, you're there in spirit. You were there with us.
Thank you. I know I didn't get to do a turkey trot this year. It didn't line up for me, and I was pretty bummed. So, okay, I'll find another one.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to stay on the run theme here for the Ask a Coach section. And I have been really inspired by one of the athletes I've been working with recently. Well, not recently, all year long, actually, Max Davidson. But more recently, he has had two back-to-back marathon performances. And this was a big focus for him this year, was really being able to pace a good marathon. And he had the New York City Marathon, the first weekend of November, and he raced that in a time of 3:05:43. But when he was done, he was pretty wiped. Like he was starting to slow down in his last few miles. And so this is all about like how can we like adjust the pacing and and do it such that he can finish strong. Like his last mile is his fastest and strongest. Like he feels that strong at the end. And so we adjusted some things. He was really committed and disciplined about this. And just 3 weeks later, this past weekend, Philadelphia Marathon, he finishes in a time of 3:04:21, a minute and 22 seconds faster than the New York City Marathon, and a personal record. And he was also finishing, I think that last mile, he was literally at a 6:30 pace.
That's amazing. Like,
And he felt great.
so fast.
So he's an inspiration. He's also really excited about his really big goals. I don't know that I have permission to share these yet, but I mean, like some big goals. Boston is one that's a
Audacious.
pretty, yeah, but Boston is definitely doable for him. I think he's
Yeah.
really close. He will probably, my guess is he'll, I think we can get him to qualify this year.
Mm.
But he has some like really incredible ultra goals too. And even we've even joked about maybe even doing that Taco Bell 50K next year, next October. So anyway, so we have some tips for you folks on the question is, how do you pace a perfect marathon? And here are the tips that we have for how to do this. So let's start by being conservative. Begin 10 to 15 seconds per mile slower than the goal pace for the first 3 to 5 miles. This helps avoid early glycogen depletion and keeps the heart rate in check. I 100% agree with this. Max and I took this a little bit further. We actually were more like 20 to 30 seconds per mile slower at the beginning. And then we started to ratchet it up around 10 to 12 mile mark. But it wasn't until after 13 miles that he really started to step on the gas and go faster than what was the goal pace. And you can see in the show notes, the splits between the first half and the second half. The first 13.35 miles, 136.20. The second 13.23 was a 128.06.
Wow. That's awesome. And that goes
Negative
right
split.
into, to running those negative splits, number 2, right? So aim to run the second half slightly faster than the first. And studies show negative splits lead to better overall performance and reduced fatigue. And for me, I always think like if I put in my brain that I'm focused on running a negative split, it forces me to like really go out and slow down in the beginning, because it's so easy to start a race. And I would say you start like a 5-year-old in a 1 mile fun run, and going into it with the mindset of negative split forces you to just slow down so you're strong at the end and not like holding on at the end.
I'm just imagining that, Lauren. That's such a good visual. Hold your horses. Yes, know what your goal pace is. That's actually perfect. And you want to use the pace of your current training, right? Set realistic targets. Don't use what you were using in high school on the track team for your goal pace for a marathon. You can use tools like Training Peaks or pace calculators to set realistic targets. We also have this amazing thing in the RunDot app as well as TriDot called RaceX. And you've heard us talk about this a few times, but this is such a great tool for helping you understand what a good goal pace is, a good target is for not only your heart rate, your running pace, but also power if you run with power. So I love that tool. It's probably one of my favorite features of predictive fitness. And that's something you definitely want to be using to pace a marathon.
The next tip, by the way, that is spot on. RaceX is a great tool for doing that. And obviously you can also like program in the individual segments. You can import the course. It knows the entire course. Lots of benefits to RaceX. Using effort and not just pace. Hills, wind, and heat can skew pace. Monitor perceived exertion with heart rate to stay consistent when conditions change. Lots really to unpack in this. First, yeah, hills, wind. Those are forces that hills. You can sort of get around that a little bit, with a grade adjusted pace display on your watch in order to like kind of know what the relative effort is, and then wind. So sometimes you just have to go by feel, right? You don't have any gauges to tell you other than this rate of perceived exertion. And what's really, it's a really useful tool for really kind of sensing and getting in tune with what energy system that you are in. And so, kind of getting used to, what your respiratory rate is at a zone 1, like a recovery pace versus a zone 2. And the being able to do that by feel, when you start to feel that respiratory rate come up and you feel that stress come up, it's probably a good sign that you're starting to get anaerobic and get out of an aerobic zone. But understand what those paces are and how they relate to heart rate when things are normal. And that way you can also help identify when things are not normal, like when your heart rate is high for the given rate of perceived exertion. It might be an indicator of things like dehydration.
Rich, I gotta say, I'm sorry, Lauren, I gotta jump in here. I was definitely in the anaerobic zone on our turkey trot. I did. I was the competitive Karen, if you will, of the group. I would use the turkey trot as a 5K assessment, which I thought I would never do. Found out from Rich on the day that this course was super hilly, and just was like, okay, we're here. We're gonna do it. But it was epic. It was awesome. But yeah, I was huffing and puffing, trying to dodge the corn stalks and the Thanksgiving meal accoutrements and the jogger strollers who were throwing elbows. It was a riot.
Yeah,
I
you
would
had to blow a
say
lot of energy in that crowd.
5Ks, in my opinion, I feel like a 5K, and I've said this before on one of our podcasts, where I feel like a 5K is harder for me than a half marathon. Like,
Yeah.
you're going hard for 20, 25, 30 minutes, and it's like, it's so uncomfortable. But I do love the idea of RPE and having that pass to know that trust your body, because I'm totally a fall victim, I'll say, to having wind in my face and getting so frustrated that obviously my paces are harder to hold. And you have to remember that your RPE can sometimes be more important than looking at the time on your watch if you want to go long and not fatigue and fail. So, tip number 5, fuel and hydrate strategically. I love this one. So, plan nutrition every 30 to 45 minutes and hydrate early. Poor fueling often causes late race shutdowns more than pacing errors. And if you're waiting until you feel like you need to have a gel or you feel like you need to have a sip of water, you've probably waited too long. And my last 70.3, I will say my hydration strategy on the half marathon was the best I've done, and I got stronger as the run went on because I was taking electrolytes and water in at every single aid station, and I didn't have cramping, and I literally, as the race progressed, was feeling stronger. So fuel and hydrate strategically if you want to go long.
Lauren, that's a huge testament to that strategy. Rarely have I heard that people get stronger as they go on, especially in a half marathon, in a triathlon.
Yeah, it was, and I normally have it like pretty decent cramping at the end of the race. It doesn't really happen while I'm running necessarily, but often when I stop, I'll be like, oh my God, wait, my calf, holy crap.
Oh,
And this time I literally felt, and again, I know it was like the electrolytes and everything too, but I was really, really thankful.
mm. Well, one other thing that we can do to help with the mental aspect of a long distance race, such as a marathon, is how to divide it into thirds. And I think this absolutely has been one of the strategies that has saved me for a long run, especially when we're talking about 26 miles. It's really hard to think about a full 26 miles where you're trying to hold a certain pace and that effort level and that just staying mentally in it. So, learning how to break it into thirds can really help with chunking that up so it doesn't feel so intimidating or daunting. And what you can do is the first 10 miles have a strategy where you hold back, just like Coach Rich shared with us what his strategy was with Max. Doing that for yourself, figuring out what your pacing strategy will be so that you're not at the top end of your pace right out the gate. You want to save those matches for the last 6.2 for sure. So breaking it up, the first 10 miles holding back, second 10 miles or the middle, lock into that goal pace, and then that last 6.2, give it all she's got and throw down there. That's a really great way to successfully pace a marathon.
Perfectly said, Coach April. And just like you would break your race into segments, it's a great way to even practice. And when you're doing your training and you're training those race paces in your long runs, we call these stamina runs when you're doing your sort of race specific race day simulation for a marathon, which is you're going to be mostly in that kind of that zone 3 range. And but if you build into it and you practice, the discipline of holding yourself back for the first third of that long run, and then building into it, just like Coach April said, it'll help really build confidence for your ability to pace it on race day. And the closer you get to your marathon, the closer you are getting to actual race pace. So I know Coach April and I are both reading the Marathon Excellence for Everyone book. I think it was a recommendation out of USAT Level 1 from Bobby McGee. And it talks about the closer you're getting to that 95% and then that 97% and then that basically, like 99% of your marathon pace as you get closer and closer. And then when it comes to race day, you're going to have to adapt, right? Keep your eye on the weather because first of all, that's one of the variables that's going to happen, right? It might be cooler than you prepared or hotter than you were thinking, making sure that you have the right gear and equipment to adjust to that. And knowing, going into this, hopefully in your preparation, in your nutrition, hydration preparation, you have been recording your sweat rate at different intensities, at different temperatures. And so, if that temperature changes, what your new hydration rate is going to be or sweat rate, and therefore hydration rate needs to be. So, yeah. And then, of course, no penalty for being early, as I like to say. So get there early on race day and finish strong.
I love that. Get there early. I'm all for being early and ready to go. So,
right, April?
Yeah, right.
did we roll
Nobody's
up
throwing me under the bus today. I get there just in time. That's the Air Force in me.
like as long as you get there before the gun goes off.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's roll into our Get Gritty tip sponsor, Vespa Power. Vespa Power Endurance helps you tap into steady, clean energy so you stay strong, focused, and in the zone longer. Vespa is not fuel, but a metabolic catalyst that shifts your body to use more fat and less glycogen as your fuel source. Vespa comes in CB25, Junior, and Concentrate. Less sugar, higher performance, faster recovery. There is a link in the show notes. Use discount code 303 endurance 20 for 20% off your purchase.
I just realized what you were referring to, Rich. I gotta go back. I'll throw a little bit back here. Rich and I did Exterra this last summer, right? And I was staying in an Airbnb. My husband and I got it because the place where we race is a little bit further away. Anyway, we planned to meet up at the Airbnb to drive over together. Rich shows up an hour early, and we're talking like 3:30 in the morning. Bing bong. Who the hell is that? Yeah,
Like,
so Rich is a big
you
believer
haven't,
in
you haven't,
early
you haven't
bird.
showered or anything? What's your
Yeah,
put
no.
on?
Peter's still like in his pajamas. And yeah, it was
And that's
awesome.
at least a mile. That was at least an hour drive from my place.
Yeah, you are insane.
Wow.
It just meant we got to spend more time together. It was great. And he helped me put my Garmin computer back on my bike. Like it all worked out. But yeah, love it. I love it. That's a great quirk that you have, my friend. Okay, now that we are good and primed for our Get Gritty tip, let us talk about rewriting the code. As athletes, we talk a lot about training the body, including building endurance, power, durability, and skill. But as you all know, there's another system, a system that is running the show long before race day ever comes. And one of my favorite coaches that I listen to, Coach Jordan Freed, he termed this system human AI, or human automation intelligence. It is the part of us that learns through repetition. And when we talk about greatness as a habit, we're really going to go into one of the habits of learning how to talk to yourself and rewrite the script. So every thought you replay, every reaction you default to, every belief you rehearse, whether or not it's true, your mind quietly installs it like software. Not because it's good, not because it's true, but because it's familiar. So human AI might be efficient, but it's not intelligent. It never stops to ask you, is this belief helping you or hurting you? Is this reaction strengthening you or sabotaging you? It just repeats whatever it's been taught. So for athletes, this matters. If you repeatedly think, man, I'm slow in the water, or I always fall apart on the run, I'm tired late season, this is just how I am. That's your human AI installing that identity, and you live it out on autopilot. But here's the powerful part: you can rewrite the code. You can become the conscious programmer of your own operating system, your beliefs, your memories, your imagination, the story you tell yourself. You can upgrade that version of yourself at any time. And you can start by paying attention to the stories, because your stories are the voice of your beliefs. And I really love this. Jordan actually gives a simple tool, and it can really work brilliantly if you start to apply it into your life. So asking yourself, what is the story you're telling? And for that story to be true, you would have to believe what? So asking, what is the story I'm telling myself? Am I telling myself that I'm a good runner? Am I telling myself that I am strong and fearless in the water? And what do I need to do for that story to be true? What would I have to believe? If you can start to imagine that and start actually putting that into your daily practice, you can suddenly move from that unconscious to conscious. And the minute you see it, you have that choice. You can choose the story you want to believe and start to work and move towards making that a reality. And just like the psychologist Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your training, your confidence, your resilience, none of it is fate. It's programming, and you have the power to rewrite it.
Yeah, this is super powerful stuff, Coach April. I love that we go here. I mean, this is like what makes the difference between, I think, Grit to Greatness and other groups of coaches is that, we realize that our limiters are not just physical limiters. We know that, there's a lot of performance out there, and performance in life that comes from things that are just between our ears. So this is fantastic stuff. So let's do this as a reflection now. Let's slow this down and make this real for you, because this isn't just a mindset exercise. This is real performance work. This is self-awareness work. This is resilience work. When you hear George's framework, the story I'm telling myself is, I want you to think about your training, your racing, your self-talk. We have moments where our human AI kicks in and runs the show without us even noticing, just as Coach April said. This is programming. So you know, what I want you to ask yourself and really take this moment to reflect on these when you're out there, tomorrow, if you're out there for your long run, what story do you tend to default to when the training gets hard? Is it I'm not strong enough, I'm behind, everyone else is fitter? Am I always fall apart here? What belief is sitting underneath that story? Is it a belief about your capability? Is it a belief about your worth, about your failures, about your preparation? How do you see yourself as an athlete? These are things that it's worth writing this down as you play this back and go back through it. When you look at the belief honestly, is it actually true or is it just familiar?
Yeah.
When you look at what you believe honestly, is it actually true or is it just familiar? Right? Remember, human AI doesn't care if it's true; it just automates what you repeat. So if you want to install a new belief, it's one that actually supports you. What would that be? Write it out, practice it. This is again, just like Coach April said earlier, this is like installing software. What you read, what you say to yourself, these are things that actually start to program the subconscious and come back to you. How would your training change if that new belief became your new default program? Would you make better decisions? Would you be more consistent? Could you be, a little bit more stable and, and less emotional or reactionary to turbulence? Would you have more confidence? These questions matter because your body will always follow the software your mind is running, and you get to choose what you update it with.
I love this. And I, again, feel like I bring up the swim often and how I always, and I even did like a blog post about it where I was a self-proclaimed head case in the water. I'd always say, I don't race in the water. I race on land. I just survive the water. And it was this constant narrative that I told myself. And then eventually I was like, shift that narrative. Like I would perform fine, but I just had this old belief that I kept telling myself, and I would tell people this. And it's like, I feel like, again, 2026, I had this shift where, not 2026, we're not there yet. 2025, I had this shift where I changed the story, and my swim again was recently one of was my strongest leg. So just want to put that out there. The power of belief. You talk to yourself more than anyone, and every cell of your body responds to the words that you say to yourself. So with that, action item. All right, team. So here's your challenge for the week. And it's one that can truly change the trajectory of your season, of your upcoming season, right? So at least once per day in training or in daily life, pause and ask yourself or say, the story I'm telling myself is. So the story I'm telling myself is that I'm a head case in the water. So then follow with, for that story to be true, I must believe. And you want to make sure that you're actually having a positive story. So the story I'm telling myself is that I am a strong swimmer. Then follow it with, for that story to be true, I must believe that the training that I do translates to how I perform on race day. Or whatever that, that saying looks like. Whatever it is, write it down, look at it with honesty, and then decide whether that belief deserves to say or needs to be rewritten, right? So I've obviously rewritten my story, because when you make the unconscious conscious, you stop running old programs and you start running your life with intention. That's how you train resilience. That's how you get gritty. And that's how you build an operating system that supports the athlete and the human that you are becoming. So
Ooh, thank you both. Thank you so much. I think what I'm going to do, because there are a lot of good reflection questions in here, is I'm going to actually add this to our newsletter as well, so that our readers can also have this as a visual reference to get their week and hopefully the rest of their training season and continuously on in their lives, see that improvement. So fantastic job, teammates. I appreciate it. Back to you, Lauren.
Great discussion.
yeah,
Great
no,
discussion.
that was wonderful, April. Thank you for putting that together for us. So I'll roll into our workout of the week, which is CARS. So this is for mobility. For anyone who's not familiar with what CARS are, it stands for Controlled Articular Rotations, talking about rotations around the joint. So we're not talking about FTP tests, long runs, interval sets, all the things that we might first think of when we think of endurance training. We're talking about something that endurance athletes sometimes love to put off until the body is giving you little whispers and nudging you to fix me, fix this. And then eventually your body's screaming at you, and it's in the form of injuries, poor recovery, decreasing performance. So diving into mobility, and like I said, specifically CARS, controlled articular rotations, it is an extremely easy and powerful tool that you can add to your training. Before we go into all of the information about CARS, I want to talk a little bit about flexibility versus mobility, right? So a lot of times when we think of, make sure you're doing recovery work or mobility work, people sometimes mix it up and think that if they're doing a static stretch, that they're doing something that's going to improve their mobility. And that's not true. Flexibility and mobility are not the same thing. Flexibility is passive. So if you think about it, it's how far a muscle can stretch when an outside force is applied. So think of gravity if you're bending down to touch your toes, or if you're using a towel or a strap around your foot to help pull the foot towards you, or grabbing your foot to pull your heel towards your glutes, right? So that's flexibility. You're being assisted by a force. Mobility is active, right? So it's your ability to move a joint through a full range of motion using your muscular strength, your muscles, your strength, your control to make that movement happen. Because the reality is you can be as flexible as anyone, right? You can be extremely flexible, but still move like a good old rusty door hinge. So mobility is where performance actually improves, because mobility is the foundation for coordinated, efficient movement. And for endurance athletes specifically, when we're thinking about mobility, it's what keeps your swim, bike, run, any sort of endurance pattern from being so repetitive that tissues stop gliding, joints lose range, and then this is where overuse injuries start to creep in. So why mobility matters for endurance athletes? As endurance athletes, we live in repetitive patterns. We do a lot of rotations per workout. So think of the rotation at your shoulder joint on the swim, at your hip while you're pedaling on the bike, or while you're taking a gazillion steps on the run. Incorporating mobility work helps by improving joint mechanics, reducing overuse injuries, allowing efficient technique, improving force production, reducing unnecessary energy leaks, and keeping your stabilizing muscles awake and online. So think of mobility. Think of mobility like brushing your teeth. You don't wait, or any sort of oral care, you don't wait for a cavity to show up to start taking care of your teeth, right? You do things proactively, not reactively. And I'll also say that most endurance athletes don't need more static stretching. You need better control at the end ranges of your movement, which is exactly where CARS shine.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, this is also that we can have nice, beautiful movements as athletes, as triathletes, whether you're a cyclist, a runner, or a swimmer. And it's funny, these cars, and it's so I it isn't until recently that I actually knew that this is what I had been doing, which are called these controlled articular rotations. And we've seen people do this, right? It's just a fancy way of saying slow intentional circles with a joint acting in its full range of motion, right? How often have we either seen or done it ourselves at you're at the pool, you're just waiting to get in, and you're just doing those small little circles with your arms stretched out to your side, and you're just doing those little circles out there. You're doing them backwards and you're doing them forward, right? And you might be, doing the same thing before a run. You're doing that, maybe a kneeling hip capsule rotation, right? Where you're just moving that knee in a circle now. You're holding that knee off the ground and holding it in a circle and just going around. These movements, this controlled movement that you're doing creating that stability, using the motor awareness and the deep joint, it really helps that, that create that deep joint health. It stimulates that joint capsule and the, kind of the hydration of that capsule before you get started. It strengthens the end ranges. It helps you with the muscle activation in that joint capsule to around that joint capsule to make sure that all of the, those stabilizer muscles wake up. It improves your proprioception so that when you're out there, so you're going out there either for a swim where you're going to need that endurance, right? Being able to really kind of have that full range of motion in that swim stroke, so you get that full extension and that full catch and that nice finish. All of those things start at that joint capsule. So build in that mobility so that you can actually use it in sport. It's a simple, scalable, and quick way in a perfect way to prepare for all exercises at all levels. When and how often you should do cars, you don't have to do 20 minutes a day, but just daily, 2 to 5 minutes, just to wake up, what just as a little pre-game show, if you will, a little pre-training session warm up. Fantastic for priming the nervous system. Post-workout too, great for just helping speed up that recovery, get some hydration back into that joint. You might have a little bit of swelling around there. Get that motion, keep that tissue nice and healthy, and it's great for maintaining movement quality. So they're also there as your early warning system, right? You feel a tight spot, you feel a sticky spot, something feels off, and do right and left and feel like, does one feel different than the other? Do a little bit of self-comparison as you go through this, left to right. And then how do those hip cars, for example, everyday endurance athlete needs this. Let's walk through the hip cars, because strong, clean hip mechanics are everything in endurance sports. Your kick, your pedal stroke, your run stride, all depend on them. So the setup here is stand tall next to the wall or something, light to hold yourself against for balance. Brace your core, ribs down, hips level. So really kind of turn on those transverse abdominals. And then here's the movement. Lift your knee straight up in front of you in a controlled hip flexion. Open the knee out to the side of you without letting your torso lean or letting your knee drop. Rotate the hip inward so your foot starts to sweep behind you as your knee rotates in. Extend the knee back behind you without arching your lower back, and then return back to that starting position. That's one slow rotation. The cues here: this is not a speed drill. Move intentionally with purpose, but slow. You're not trying to wake up a sleeping doll or a cat. So you're just trying to, just nice and controlled. You're not accelerating through this. Nice, consistent speed. Everything stays still except for the hip that's moving. If you hit a sticky spot, hey, there you go. Congratulations, you found it. That's where you actually need to spend a little bit of time. Own the range that you have. Don't force anything that you don't have. This isn't supposed to be a painful experience. This is really supposed to just be that kind of daily maintenance. Dosage: do this 3 to 5 reps per side, 1 to 2 rounds, done consistently. This is one of the best tools that you can have for your daily routine.
As Rich was talking, Lauren and I were also doing some cars with our shoulders and arms. It actually felt really great. And I will tell you guys, getting older, it's not as easy as it used to be to just roll out of bed and go do. This morning, I actually woke up with a little bit of a kink in my neck. So I will be doing some neck rotations tonight before I go to sleep and when I get up. So this is actually perfect timing. And how we can integrate mobility into our week. So a simple structure for the busy endurance athlete can look like this: daily, spending 2 to 5 minutes on cars. You can use it before key sessions, such as the hip cars, which Rich just shared, thoracic spine. Oh, it actually sounds so good right now. And shoulders. After long sessions, you can use it to build that slow, low intensity rotation to help those joints decompress. And then long term, this will really help with that long term joint mobility. You want to treat mobility just like you would strength. It's a non negotiable piece of performance. So don't think of this like extra credit. This is absolutely a performance enhancer and needs to be a part of your daily routine. So, our call to action is to create your own MIDI mobility routine, and we're going to help you out with that. If you want a quick athlete friendly mini mobility routine that you can plug in before workouts or on your rest days, we have put together a simple 6-move flow that takes about 5 minutes and hits all those major joints. To get that, you need to sign up for our Grit to Greatness newsletter. That routine will be sent out in the next release on Monday. So it's perfect if you're someone who knows mobility is important. And I know you just heard it all from us. So we hope you've changed your mind here. But also maybe pretends they did some stretching even when they didn't do it. That's pretty good. Yeah. So this is a commitment. We've all been there. We've all pretended like we got a good stretch in. No, this is going to be your recipe for actually doing the work to make sure that your joints are mobile and fluid. So that is your workout of the week, mobility and cars. Simple, powerful, joint saving work that will make you move better, feel better, and race better. We want you to take care of your joints. They're with you for every mile. So make sure that you sign up for our newsletter to get that 6 move flow so you can start working on this specific area. Thank you, Coach Lauren, for this awesome workout of the week.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect time of year to be really focusing and reminding ourselves that this is so important to do.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Habit. Just saying.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Say that again, Lauren, because I think I cut you off.
I said, y'all should establish it as a habit.
Yes, I love it. I am actually really intrigued by this, so thank you for this. Okay, it is the end, and that means we have reached the fun segment. All right, and since we are coming off the end of Thanksgiving, what better segment than to talk about what we do with all those amazing leftovers? This segment is called the Leftovers Gauntlet. So, welcome to another very special holiday edition of our fun segment. Thanksgiving may be over, but the real endurance challenge is just beginning, navigating the mountain of leftovers, still calling your name from the fridge. Today, we're going to put it with a triathlon twist on the chaos, which I'm calling the Leftovers Gauntlet, a choose your own adventure where our coaches will decide their fate through 3 race day scenarios inspired by the Thanksgiving aftermath. Lauren and Rich, will you survive the gravy slicked swim start? Will your turkey sandwich maintain aero integrity? And will you negative split your sprint to the pie before a family member claims the last slice? There's only one way to find
Love
out.
that.
Yes, let that leftovers gauntlet begin, because the only
Wow.
thing more chaotic than T1 on race day is the family fridge the day after Thanksgiving.
Awesome. Can't wait. What a setup.
All right, good. So, our first challenge is the swim leg. I'm calling this the gravy glide. You have arrived. All right. So the point of this is you are getting to the fridge before anyone else. All right. So this is your triathlon. You've arrived at T1 only to discover that your kitchen floor is covered in gravy. You must cross it safely. So you're going to choose your adventure. 1, the high elbow catch. You channel your inner swim form and pull yourself across using countertop edges, keeping perfect technique even in chaos. Bonus, there's 0 splash. 2, the dolphin dive of desperation. You commit, you dive, you slide across the gravy like an overconfident otter. It's messy, it's questionable, but you get to the fridge the fastest. And number 3, the buoyant biscuit float. You stack leftover biscuits into improvised flotation devices and paddle your way across. It's slow, but it's undeniably innovative. Which one are you guys?
I think I'm
Coach
A.
Lauren? High elbow catch. Okay. Nice technique.
You pull yourself across that countertop edge,
Using my
keeping
upper
perfect
body.
technique.
Upper body
Yeah.
pull.
I saw the dolphin dive, and I just saw a slip and slide all the way. I am going head first on my belly. and I am going to just sail right to the fridge.
Yeah, there you go. Dolphin dive of desperation. I'm with you, Rich. I think I would absolutely belly flop, dolphin dive, right, slick slide to the fridge. If it says it's the fastest, so that's the route I'm taking. I don't care if it's ugly. We gotta beat
going in
the sisters back. There's 4 girls in my family, so we can put down some food. So I'm going full in. All right, I do have a question. Do you prefer brown gravy or white gravy?
Brown.
Yep, brown. Brown it is. Great choice. All right, now we have moved on to the bike leg, the turkey sandwich arrow test. You are assembling the perfect post-Thanksgiving turkey sandwich, but every topping chooses or changes your aerodynamics. Choose your adventure. 1, the arrow purist, you go minimalist. You got turkey and mustard, clean lines, fast profile, your watts go up instantly, but so does your envy for everyone else's stuffing. You've got the stacked rotor disc upgrade. You add stuffing, gravy, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce. Your sandwich is now 9 inches tall and produces more drag than a parachute. But wow, the flavor FDP is unmatched. And then you have the precision fuel strategist. You measure every ingredient carefully, calculating optimal topping to bread ratio. You run the numbers, you adjust the layers, and you even consider sodium levels. This sandwich could podium. Which adventure are you going to choose?
Going for the podium.
Precision fuel strategist? Yeah. That's awesome.
Because here's the thing is, I don't want just mustard.
No.
But then I'm like, if I could scientifically figure out the perfect amount of everything, I'll go with that. I'll ask ChatGPT to give me the ratios.
Yeah. The arrow gains. I love it.
So I would normally be a precision fuel strategist, but I just have to confess that today with my leftovers, I was an arrow purist. I grabbed 3 things. I grabbed a pretzel bagel or a pretzel bun.
Yep.
Just the turkey, just the sliced turkey. And was that it? Maybe I just grabbed 2 things. Oh no. And there was some cheese from a cheese tray. And I just took those 3 things and that was the sandwich, those 3 ingredients. Watts went up instantly, but so did my envy for all the other great stuff that I could have loaded in there.
I love this because I did number 2. I will do number 2. I am absolutely the stacked rotator disc upgrade. I've got it all on there, guys. Stuffing, gravy, cranberry sauce. Absolutely. My favorite thing is cranberry sauce aside from the sweet potato pie. Like it has to be the one out of the can with the ridges, like that level of cranberry sauce. So yeah.
There was a post that was like, I only enjoy cranberry sauce in its raw, natural form. And it was like out of the can with the ridges on it.
Standing vertical. Yes.
That's the only way,
yes.
right?
Absolutely. Okay. We have made it to the run split. All right. This is the pie negative split. It's late. The fridge light glows. There's only one slice of that pecan pie, Rich, that remains. And you're not alone. So you got to choose your adventure. Are you the sneaky tiptoe trot? You run silently, barefoot, dodging creaky floorboards like you're in the stealth portion of a video game. Success depends on avoiding detection by family members or pets. Are you the all-out fridge sprint? Someone yells, "Is there still pie left?" And you instantly PR your 5K. You cross that kitchen finish line breathless, triumphant, and slightly ashamed, but holding the plate. And then you have the diplomatic pacer. You offer to split it, then strategically take the bigger half. A masterclass on both sportsmanship and dessert acquisition.
You want to go first, Rich?
Sure. I would be, I know I would just be the diplomatic pacer. This,
You're a dad. Yep. I get
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the same though. If I'm being honest, I would always be like, I never eat like the last piece of something. I'm always like, somebody eat the last piece. So I probably realistically split it. But if I want to be true to my competitive nature, I'll say I'll sprint, PR, and eat the whole dang thing. But that's not true. So
You both are lame. Okay, so it's just me and Peter, and we got 2 cats. I am absolutely the all-out fridge sprint. I'm going for that last piece. No holds barred, and I am definitely not ashamed.
What is Peter the sneaky tiptoe trot?
No, he's diplomatic.
You'd
This
be the
poor
diplomat.
man.
Okay.
He is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am not ashamed to admit that I take advantage of his diplomacy. All right, lightning round. We've got one last little bit here. You're going to pick your leftover superpower. So, best pre-ride fuel, cold turkey slices, stuffing straight from the container, or pie for breakfast.
Ooh, definitely pie for breakfast.
Yeah, I think I'm going pie for breakfast as well. Yeah, I think that's right for me too. Would you rather do hill repeats wearing post-Thanksgiving bloat or a 5K next to a relative who won't stop talking?
hill repeats.
It depends on if I can run faster than my relative. Because if I can run fast enough, then they're breathing too hard. They don't have to talk anymore. So
that'll quiet them down. You're not running fast enough. Okay. Last one. Your endurance spirit leftover. Is it green bean casserole, green bean casserole steady, mashed potatoes comfort pace, or cranberry sauce chaotic energy?
Mashed potatoes.
yeah, comfort pace all the way. You betcha.
I'm going cranberry sauce chaotic.
Chaotic cranberries.
Yeah, chaotic cranberries all day. So whether you're building sandwiches that violate that structural engineering code or debating whether pie counts as carb loading, your leftovers are basically training equipment at this point. Use them wisely or chaotically. We're here to support both. Gobble on, athletes.
That's awesome. Happy Thanksgiving to you both. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone who is tuned in. We really are so glad that we got to spend this with you. Thanks again for listening this week. Be sure to follow us at Grit to Greatness Endurance. And of course, go to iTunes, give us a rating and a comment. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Stay tuned, train informed, and enjoy the endurance journey.
For your 303 Endurance Podcast.